Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd. Rising tensions in the Middle East and rising tensions at our nation's ports. This meant a sour start to October for stocks yesterday. All three major indices closed yesterday's regular trading session in the red. The Dow shed 173 points or 0.41%. The S&P 500 lost 53 points or 0.93%. The Nasdaq fell 273 points or more than 1.5%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. Watching the S&Ps. S&Ps are actually lower this morning. We're down 0.27%, a little over, we're approaching 0.3%. So, not really a good look. And really, you're right. The dominant topic is really that Iranian missile strike on Israel. The strike was largely ineffective, much like the one in April. Israel is vowed to respond. We know that. Now, a strong response by Israel, that's going to cause the market to weaken even further. If it's the same type of response that they did last time where, it's a very telegraphed move and very light missiles, the markets will just say, okay, the situation is over, de-escalation is on, and the markets will start to rise again. But that's the dominant theme today, But the other key one today is we get that ADP employment report that's due out this morning. Remember, last month's that report was very underwhelming. I think it came in at 99,000, and the market was looking for 140. So we'll have to wait and see how that ADP comes out this morning at 8:15 a.m. Nike released earnings last night, and there was a lot of hope when they came out with earnings, and they did deliver a beat. But, it wasn't good enough. I mean, their outlook was so bad. They pulled the forward guidance. They canceled their shareholders meeting. It was not a good day for Nike. Oil stocks this morning, we're seeing some positive action as expected. Oil is up, big this morning, and we're seeing oil stocks run. What else? Casino stocks are moving higher, or luxury stocks are moving higher, and part of the reason for that is because the Hang Seng had such a big move last night. Let's kind of switch gears and let's talk about what happened in Asia last night first, rather than Europe. If we look at Asia last night, we saw the action was mixed. Number one, but the Hang Seng exchange. The Hang Seng Index jumped 6%, 6.20%, or 1,310 points. That's causing strength in casino stocks, and luxury stocks are moving higher because of this, because they feel that China's economy is going to be on the mend now that the government is behind the stimulus program. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. The Nikkei, on the other hand, did fall. It fell to 2.18%, or 843 points. There's like a cash movement going on. Technology stocks were the leading, were leading the move lower on the Nikkei, but there's some move going on where money's being moved out of equities in Japan into safer haven assets. And one of those may actually be, Chinese equities, believe it or not. China, the markets were closed. They're closed all week for a national holiday. Moving back over to Europe, in Europe, we're seeing mixed action. I mean, we've got the DAX down 129 points, or 0.67%. The FTSE is higher by, about 5 points, or 0.06%. Remember, that index is heavily weighted with oil stocks. So, I'm not surprised to see that one trade a little higher. The CAC, on the other hand, is down, 15 points, or 0.21%. But we did see gains in luxury stocks and oil stocks, in European markets. So that's all positive. Let's move on to oil and see what's happening in the oil markets. I mean, face the facts, oil is gaining. Oil is up, big this morning. WTI is at $71.96. That's up 3.08%. We got Brent crude trading $75.56. That's up 2.72%. Listen, the traders are pricing in additional volatility, into oil right now because of the escalation of violence in the Middle East. But later today, we get an announcement coming out from OPEC, because there's a virtual OPEC meeting going on. No big announcement is scheduled. scheduled. Saudi Arabia did come out and say, indicate that they're willing to do a price war if some of the OPEC members don't start adhering to their quotas. You don't want that, they don't want that because that'll drop oil down to, $50 a barrel if that goes on. Also this morning, we got the EIA oil stockpiles data coming out. That's going to be a key one. The API data came out last night, showed a draw of 1.3 million barrels, I believe it was. But the API is really the key one. That's going to be watchful for. And that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
And Bill, we hear a number of headlines today, including those tensions in the Middle East, affecting elements across the market. We're also talking about the economic data coming out, more jobs data today. And of course, there's some earnings action worth noting. So we're going to get there first. Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings?
We're just going to be talking about what happened last night. I mean, we did get Lamb Wesson came out with their earnings. They beat by a penny on higher revenue. You look at the stock, it's down 5.18% this morning. Then there's Nike. Nike delivered an 18-cent beat, but it was done on lower revenue. They withdrew their 2025 guidance and they postponed its Investors Day. You're looking at shares at Nike this morning and they're down 7.28%. Not good for shares at Nike. Upcoming reports that we see: Levi Strauss, ticker LEVI, Larry Edward, Victor India. Their EPS is 31 cents. Expected move is 10.15% when they release this afternoon. And then tomorrow morning, we have Constellation Brands, ticker STZ, Sam Tom Zebra. Their EPS is $4.11 with an expected move of 3.45%, Emily.
Bill, as we mentioned, we're also watching economic data this morning. So let's get a rundown of everything we should be watching when it comes to the day's economic events.
Yeah, we got a lot of economic. I wouldn't say a lot, but we have the ADP national employment report coming out at 8:15 a.m. this morning. 10:30 a.m. we get the EIA oil stockpiles report. Now, the estimates for the ADP report are at 128,000. We'll have to see where they land, because last month it came in at 99. It was August, a little light. We'll have to see if we get that bounce back in September. That's kind of what the market is anticipating anyways. We're talking about the Fed speak. At 9 a.m. we're going to hear from Cleveland Fed Bank President Beth Hammack. This is her first speech. Remember, she just was appointed over the summer as Fed Bank President of Cleveland. Another new one happens at 10:05 a.m. St. Louis Fed Bank President Alberto Muslim will be speaking. At 11 a.m. we're going to be hearing from Fed Governor Michelle Baumann. Boy, is she on the circuit lately. And then at 12:15, we're going to be hearing from Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Barkin. And that's what I have for you in terms of an economic update this morning, Emily.
Bill, often on the mornings I mentioned, you're keeping track of all of that, those economic events, the Fed speak, the earnings action, overseas action, and you're still keeping track of more data and information coming out of different sectors and segments. And as I say, I'm not sure how you would do that without having NewsWare and breaking it down into these alerts. You also have alerts for other types of news, following things like guidance news, shareholders meetings, other catalysts this morning, looking at your stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving markets today?
Just doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 20 lower. I got 8 higher. The rest unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. We're seeing little gains in Meta, but everything else is flat to lower. So yeah, we don't look like we're going to have a positive opening. Some of the news behind the headlines, like Apple. Bank of America is out there saying Apple's App Store revenue grew by 14% in fiscal Q4. That's kind of positive. Shares of Apple, are lower by 0.6% this morning. Meta Platforms launches a data sharing platform with UK banks. Meta's trading higher by a little over 0.2%. Tesla, we got to keep an eye on Tesla. They got their delivery data is due out this morning. Market's expecting deliveries of 462,000 autos. We'll have to see how that hits. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, we're talking Microsoft. Microsoft unveils Copilot Vision, Think Deeper, and Copilot Voice yesterday. Not major announcements, but interesting. Chevron. Hey, Saudi Arabia said that they're preparing for a price war if OPEC members continue to cheat. It's just positive news for some of these oil stocks. I mean, we'll have to wait and see if that happens or not. Nike, ticker NKE, they withdrew their 2025 guidance amid weak Q1 outlook and the CEO change. Not good for Nike. Yeah, that's just another ugly, another black eye for the stock. In terms of guidance news, Lamb Weston cuts their 2025 EPS view to $4.15 to $4.35. The street had their estimates at $4.48. That's a big downtick. Nike sees Q2 revenue down 8 to 10%. 8 to down, 8 to 10%. That's just negative. Shareholders meetings, NDSN, Nancy, David, Sam, Nancy, Nordson, they're holding an investors day tomorrow at 1 p.m. And DNB, David, Nancy, Boyd, Dun and Bradstreet, they're holding a data and AI summit tomorrow at 10 a.m. Something to keep an eye on. Catalyst calls, hey, Bank of America is out with their top 10 ideas for Q4. AutoNation, ticker AN, Hasbro, ticker HAS, Johnson Controls, ticker JCI, Spotify, ticker SPOT, and Walmart, ticker WMT, were all on the list. Deutsche Bank named Carrier Global as a short-term sell idea. That's ticker CARR, Charlie Apple, Richard. And then that's what I have for in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
I'm going to go with Estee Lauder, ticker EL, Edward Larry. Listen, luxury stocks are in rally mode. You saw that, you see that going on with, out of China. We're looking at yesterday's call volume, 5,550 calls versus 5,388 puts, flat to higher. Okay. Call open interest, 118,732 versus 118,915, flat to lower. Okay. I just got to think that this luxury trade still has legs. If I can get in 97.20 to 97.50, I think that might be a good area, but I think I might be able to get 1% out of EL. There's no good earnings coming out that I really like, that are really standing out to me. And I don't see any real hot news. It's really going to be boosting. I mean, Tesla's got their auto deliveries, but I'm scared of Tesla right now. But I do think Tesla's going to run into their investors day, their robo taxi event that's going on October 10th. Something to keep an eye on. But that's my pick of the day. Ticker EL, Edward Larry, Estee Lauder, and I'm going for 97.20 to 97.50 as an entry price, Emily.
Bill, playing the luxury sector today. We will follow Estee Lauder along with you today. And coming up, we will do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day. So don't go anywhere. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
CME Group is out with their Q3 statistics. Got to look at that. Eli Lilly announces a new $4.5 billion site. That could be interesting. They need to make more of their weight loss drug, right? Garmin, ticker GRMN, Grace, Richard, Mary, and Nancy. They're coming out with, they unveiled the Lily 2. It's an active smartwatch with built-in GPS. Interesting. Mobileye, awarded order from tier 1 Israeli-based customer. Okay, MOB. Interesting. Palantir, ticker PLTR, EdgeScale, AI partners with Palantir to launch Live Edge. MTN, Michael, Tom, Nancy, this is Vail Mountain Resorts. They entered into a pact to develop West Lionheads into a fourth base village. Oracle to invest over $6.5 billion in AI cloud services in Malaysia. Listen, I think that Boeing strike's going to be ending soon. One of the things I noticed is Boeing's largest union. The union guys are urging the new CEO of Boeing, to get involved in these contract talks, these contract negotiations. They want to end that strike because guess what? The plane maker cut off their healthcare benefits. Yeah, being on strike isn't so great when you don't have your healthcare benefits. That's not good. President Biden, he's saying that he's not going to, get involved in these labor negotiations, but he does support the dock workers. The EU Commission requests information from YouTube, Snapchat, and TikTok on parameters used by their algorithms to recommend content to users in their role in amplifying some systematic risks. Humana, these health insurers are really under pressure. They released their 2025 Medicare Advantage plans. It's underwhelming the market. It's not good. CVS, Charlie Victor Sam, Glenview denies that it's pushing for a breakup of the company. JP Morgan plans to open up about 100 new branches in low-income areas. That's what I have seen move in the market this morning, Emily.
Bill, plenty of news hitting the tape. And before we get to trading today, we will do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was ConAgra. Now, the company did release earnings this morning. The company reported adjusted earnings per share of 53 cents, just missing the analyst consensus of 59 cents. Revenue came in at $2.79 billion. Estimates were for $2.84 billion. That was down 3.8% year over year. The CEO pointed to a challenging environment in terms of guidance. ConAgra Brands sees full year 2025 adjusted EPS of $2.60 to $2.65. Now, the consensus here was $2.61, so not bad. Bill, you were trading this one ahead of earnings yesterday, and you said if you got your 1%, you were going to take it and walk away. How did your call work out?
I mean, it worked out. I mean, you look at the opening price, $32.68. It opened up at $32.68, fell to $32.40, but then it ran hot and it ran all the way up to $34.98. There's your 1%. Closed out, near, a little higher, 32.72 at the open, a little higher than the opening price. But the 1% was there yesterday. But I was looking for a much lower entry price, and it didn't hit that, so I didn't wind up doing anything in there. But if you got in at the opening price, it did move 1%, so it was there. But for me, it was a flat trade. I didn't get to execute, Emily.
But there was still a chance for that 1% there. We will check in with you tomorrow about today's Estee Lauder pick of the day to see if you can grab your 1% today. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk, when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Vani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.